What's going on, everyone? Sean here with Triangle of Truth. Welcome back to another episode of Manga Madness. So, in this episode, I decided to talk about some animes that I had recently started watching, just based on recommendations from friends, and then also just happened to browsing around the various streaming services and finding them, and figured, why not? I've got 5 of them. I'm sure some of these, at least a couple of these, for sure, people are going to really know and be like, well, how come you haven't watched them before? Sorry, guys, I just, my own fault, shoot me in the head. So, with that said, we're going to start off with a really well-known one that is, popular in both manga and in anime. And that is My Hero Academia. I'm actually in season 2 now. I finished season 1. Basically, it was one of those where Jay, it's actually one of his favorite animes because, his name, All Might. I don't know why his name escaped me there. All Might is one of his favorite characters, and he was telling me about it, his power set and everything, and I was like, oh, that sounds, kind of cool. And we had our nieces over, and one of them said, hey, let's watch, My Hero Academia. I never watched it before. I said, sure, why not? Hooked instantly from the very first episode, and thus here we are now. I got all the way through season 1. I'm about 3 or 4 episodes into season 2, and just enjoying it. I actually even bought volume 1 of the manga just so I can read that and see how that differs, because a lot of times stuff based on comic books or mangas and stuff like that, or books in general, there are things left out that you don't get in the animated or the live action that you would get in the books. So definitely looking forward to reading that and just seeing if there is anything that I missed. The next one on my list is one recommended by Jenna, and it's called Fire Force. When I first saw the cover photo on Hulu, which is where you can actually find this, I literally thought it was something about firefighting. So instantly in my head, I'm hooked because I have my brother who is a firefighter, and it's something that I did as a volunteer for a couple years when I was younger. So this is something that I've been around for most of my life. It's an interest. I think they are some of the biggest heroes on the planet and some of the bravest people that I know. So I was like, an anime about this would be really cool. Get right into the first 5 minutes of the first episode, and boy, was I wrong about what this was going to be about. Yes, they wear like firefighter uniforms in a sense, but it's a completely different thing. And this, to me, is probably my favorite anime that I'm watching right now, outside of Ruby. Ruby's going to be number 1. Don't see that ever coming down. But it is so good, and I'm just about done with season 1, which I think is the only season up. So I'm kind of sad about that. But nonetheless, if you have not checked it out, you really need to. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how great the characters are, their powers, and just the unique story behind what they've created in this world in Tokyo over in Japan. So, and then my next one is, again, another really familiar one to most people, and that is One Punch Man. If you watched episode 1 of Manga Madness, you know that was actually one of the ones that was recommended as, if you want to jump into the anime world and you've never watched one before. Well, I'm now through both seasons of it, and again, the main character is utterly hilarious, and just how aloof he is to a lot of things. But when it comes down to getting the fight scenes and all that stuff, it's some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in anime before, and this is coming from a guy who, well, when you see certain things compared to like Dragon Ball Z, you realize that Dragon Ball Z fight scenes are kind of compared to this, and this really put into perspective, for me at least, what anime is actually capable of when you talk about really great fight scenes. So this is another one that has a lot of elements of, it's got some seriousness, it's got some comedy, It's got action out the wazoo, and everything in between. So definitely check that out. Another one, my next one actually, not another one, sorry, is this one. The concept behind it is so cool. I would recommend this to anybody because this one is not only a great anime that I'm only a few episodes into. I literally just started watching it this past week. But you actually literally do learn biology about your, how things in your body work. And this anime is called Cells at Work. And the premise behind this one is literally the anime is based on the inside of your body, and you have your different characters that are different types of cells within your body. You have red blood cells, white blood cells, T cells, and everything, and they battle germs, illnesses, and you see literally how everything works. And they do a great job of explaining what each of the characters are and what their actual function is within your body. And then they show them battling illnesses and germs, in these amazing, fight scenes that are, mind blowing. But at the same time, you learn that this is really what kind of how your body really works when it comes to fighting certain things. There's an episode about cancer. There's an episode you learn about how blood clots work when you get a cut on your arm. And it is truly mind blowing, the thought that went into this. So definitely check that out. Not only because you're a fan of anime, but because if you're a bit of a science geek, it is so much fun, and it has its moments. And last but not least, this one may not be for everyone. I saw it. I was like, I'm a big fan of video games, '90s video games in general. When Nintendo and Sega and everybody was really at their peak. And this is called High School Girl. You can find this on Netflix, along with Cells at Work, I might add. And I was like, let's watch it. It's about a kid who's a huge video game player. You meet him in an arcade, and he meets this girl that she never talks throughout any of this series so far. She just makes noises. She'll hit him, and this and that. But she is better at most video games than he is. At first she basically just kicks his ass at Street Fighter. And that's kind of how he gets to know her, and they legit become friends and whatnot. And that's literally what the whole thing is based around, is just this boy and her and other characters, and just the obsession around the video game world in the 90s. So if you grew up in that era and you're a huge fan of those games and it brings you back to your childhood like it does me, or if you're just a big fan of the games that came out during that era, definitely check that one out. It is very fun, very lighthearted. It's something that everybody can read. Wow. Something that everybody can watch. And it's just a good, fun, lighthearted change of pace. And that's why that one kind of made my list of what I'm watching right now. So that is all I've got for right now. If you guys have any animes that you recommend heavily that I should check out, let me know in the comments below. I am happy to hear them. I always could use stuff to keep me busy, during my time off at home, and especially now with what's going on. So that's all I've got for this week, guys. I hope you have a good one. I hope you're staying safe and healthy with your families. Until next time, later.